In June 2026 in the USA, home foreclosures are now 20% higher than foreclosures in 2025. 20% higher. That means over the last 120 days, people could not pay their mortgages. This is not a Biden problem. This is not an Obama problem. This is a Trump economy. People cannot pay their mortgages. They cannot pay their car payments. They cannot pay their credit cards. They cannot pay their student loans. I did a video yesterday. Grocery prices are up 33% since 2019. Americans are buying 1.8% less food. 1.8% less food because it cost more for the same thing. 33% more. Over 2 million people have lost their jobs since he took office. Student loan delinquency skyrocketing. People are working, actually 75% of people are working 2 jobs in the United States. Did you know that? Look around. That means 3 out of 4 people that you know are working 2 jobs. 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Know that consumers hold up 80% of the GDP, you and me. 80% of the economy is being held up by only 10% of Americans. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Our economy is collapsing every single day, and it's going to get worse.
That 10% is the wealthy people, the billionaires that got the tax break from the big beautiful bill. They're the ones propping up the economy. And of course, they have big businesses, investments, all of that's bringing in more revenue for them. I'm paying 50% more on groceries, buying the same stuff since Trump took office, winning. Do you honestly think the US would be better with the other candidates? And someone's like the dumbest comments ever. I mean, the economy always does well when Democrats are in power. But when Republicans are in the office, shit seems to hit the fan.
There's going to be a massive housing collapse. I just watched Good Morning America, and they had a segment on how nationwide there's been so many homes that are going to foreclosure. And I've been seeing a lot of creators on this app, particularly in Texas and like the southern states, just saying that there's like so many homes going into foreclosure. We are being gaslighted by this administration regarding not only the housing market, but also the economy, because everyone's saying, oh, everything's great, jobs are booming. It is not. So many people are jobless right now. And it's not because they're lazy. I've been hearing people saying they're applying to Walmart and they're not even getting that job. And before anyone thinks I'm like fear mongering, I promise you, as a millennial, we are a generation that is taught to not only read, watch the news, but also like back your shit up. And look at this. ABC News is reporting that foreclosure homes are on the rise. Now, why is this happening? They said that foreclosure filing increased 71% between 2020 and 2025. They're saying it's because of higher mortgage rates, property taxes that continue to increase, higher costs of home insurance, and then also the end of pandemic era protection. They said that Florida had the highest rates of foreclosure, along with New Jersey, Delaware, Nevada, South Carolina, Illinois, California, Maryland, Ohio, and Arizona. I'm telling you guys, be prepared. And this could be a good thing for millennials. Maybe it'll drive the housing market to lower so we can actually afford a fucking home. But I'm telling you guys, be prepared, because we're headed for like a big economics collapse. And before anyone thinks like, oh no, it'll never happen. Well, they interviewed this girl. Her name is Emily Arner. And she was a mother of 3 working as a flight attendant. She said she bought a house in Arizona and she was so excited because it had a big backyard. The house was beautiful. And then her and her husband purchased it. Then what happened? Well, in 2025, her husband lost his job, and then she could not afford the mortgage. They tried everything, and eventually they foreclosed on their home. Things like this can happen to anyone, and right now the job market is so unstable. People are losing their jobs left to right, then they can't find a job. Our jobs are going to AI. So I'm telling you right now, just be prepared. You have been warned.
People also need to understand that right now The banks don't know what to do because they're sitting on lists of foreclosure homes or homes that they could foreclose on, homes that are delinquent, 2 to 12 months out. I'm serious. I know several people in banks and they don't know what to do. The lists are so fucking large right now, they don't know where to start. There have already been 227,000 foreclosures this year so far. Think about that for a second. That's 250,000 people that had no other choice, no other options, and they lost their home. These numbers are only going to go up. People can't afford anything. Everything is too expensive. The banks aren't, I don't know what the term for is it, but I guess jumping on these foreclosures like they could be. The lists are long, I assure you.
All right, Joe, we are now seeing the housing market absolutely fall apart as 227,000 properties were foreclosed on just in the first half of this year. This marks a 21% increase from last year, and we're only halfway through the year. And at the same time, we're also seeing home sellers outnumber home buyers by 630,000, which is now the largest gap ever recorded in history. So I know a lot of people don't like to admit it, but the housing market is clearly collapsing, and it's really just the start. Very simply, people can't afford to pay their bills because of the hyperinflation from the war, and of course the number one bill is housing, or your mortgage. And when people can't afford to pay their mortgages, they go to sell. But when there's no home buyers willing or able to buy because of the hyperinflation from the war, the market collapses. That's just how it works. Prices simply have to fall to meet the buyers, or you face foreclosure because you can't afford your mortgage. And housing prices are still at the highest levels in history. Inflation adjusted, we're still way higher than the peak of the housing bubble in 2006. So prices have a long way to fall. And you can either drop your prices massively to sell, or you get foreclosed on because you can't afford your mortgage. That's just the situation for a large number of homeowners in America. And what a lot of people don't understand in the housing market is that even if that's not your situation, and you can afford your mortgage or you even have it paid off, the rest of the market selling or getting foreclosed on means that your housing value just tanks. If everyone around you, all your neighbors, are forced to sell at $500K, your house is no longer $1 million. That's simply how it works. No one is ever going to pay $1 million for your house. And this is also a massive chain reaction too. Not everyone's going to be forced to sell. A lot of people who don't have to sell are still going to rush to sell because they don't want to lose half their equity. Or, their equity value, that is. That's just how markets work. When the prices start to contract, people just start rushing for the exits because they don't want to lose all their money, which of course causes the prices to contract even more. And another thing to keep in mind is that the boomers are also aging out. So they've been looking to sell. And also, wildly, they're looking to upgrade. Usually you downgrade when you age out, but they're looking to upgrade. So they're going to be extra concerned about, losing half their value. So this bubble is absolutely falling apart, and it's actually going to catch a lot of people by surprise. This is the collapse a lot of people aren't seeing, frankly, because most people in the housing market don't really know what they're doing. They kind of just got there by luck. COVID era, mortgage rates, that kind of stuff. And also the nature of the housing market itself. It's people buy houses to live in. It's a lifestyle choice. A lot of people aren't really factoring in the money part of it. And now, of course, the money part of it is a big deal with the hyperinflation. And of course, that aspect of it also makes the snowball worse. A lot of people are not locked into good rates. A lot of people are locked into bad rates. You bought a house before the inflation hit, and now it hits, you're out. So this is going to spiral a lot worse than people think, and it's going to catch a lot of people by storm.
Me waiting for this collapse so I can finally purchase. Mass layoffs, rising costs, every basic fixer up a home is a minimum of $200,000 for no reason. It's not collapsing. BlackRock and the property management companies are watering at the mouth to buy everything up.
2027 is going to be the year of foreclosures. It's going to be the years of short sales. But I want to be clear about one thing, is there's only a certain group of people that are going to be affected. The group of people that it is the people who bought in 2022 or later with a 7% interest rate and a tiny down payment. The cracks are cracking and it's getting worse. And I see people that put $5,000 down or $0 down. I talked to someone last week who put $1,000 down on a new build house. Those are the people that are pretty much stuck and they're underwater on their loan. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to in the last year that have bought recently, small down payment, they want to sell, they realize, oh shoot, the closing costs are 8 to 10%. I'm going to have to pay a realtor, multiple realtors. I'm gonna have to pay closing costs. I don't have any money. That is the reality. But the people that aren't affected are the sellers that bought in 2020 or sooner, that have really, really low interest rates, that have tons and tons and tons of equity in their house. They will not be affected by this. Yes, it is still going to be a challenging market for them, but they're not going to be feeling the pain. They're not going to be feeling the foreclosures. That's just not where we're going to be seeing them. I also want to say that in my experience, I don't do a lot of luxury. The lower dollar amount that the house is worth, I'm seeing the more likely it is going to go into foreclosure. The foreclosures that I'm seeing are $200,000, $300,000 townhomes, maybe a $400,000 single family. I'm really not seeing this in the $500,000 luxury real estate. I mean, luxury real estate is a different beast. It is on fire right now, that market. But the wealth gap has never been bigger, and it's going to continue to widen and widen and widen.
It's getting really bad. It's not just the banks that are foreclosing. Even the HOAs are foreclosing now. Foreclosures are starting to spike, and it's just the beginning. Over the next 18 months, it's going to skyrocket because nothing is being done about wages and inflation. Inflation continues to rock at 4-5%, and no one is doing anything. Meanwhile, things are getting more and more expensive. And what are companies doing to help? Nothing. Where are the wages? Where are wages going up 6, 7, 8%? Where? Because expenses are going up, that's for sure. But wages, here these companies are making massive profits, massive. But no one is putting down the money. No one's saying, hey, workers, thank you very much. Hey, here's a 6% raise. Here's an 8% raise. We want to make sure you're okay. It's not happening. And people are at the end. There is nothing else they can do. People are missing house payments, car payments. It's just going on and on and on. And people now are barely able to feed themselves. When is somebody going to step up and be accountable? Because people are suffering.
Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are about all the foreclosure that's happening all around America. Do you think it's the right time to buy, or are you planning to hold off? Leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Also, if you haven't, check out this video. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. But nevertheless, I will see you guys when I see you. Peace.